fans, this is Kurt Deville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Lennox Lewis. Big up England, big up. Lennox Lewis warns Moses Itauma about possibly fighting Oleksandr Usyk, and he says, wait until Usyk retires way too soon. There's no need for you to do that now. Why are you doing it? And let me counterpunch. I got to agree with Lennox Lewis. And I think Lennox has a good point here. I don't understand what the hurry is. I do understand generations. I do understand people liking the fantasy idea of it. But actually making a fight like that happen, I think that's just too much. I think it's unrealistic, and I think what they're doing, they're trying to see Usyk beat, and they're looking for a great British hope. That's what they're trying to do. And if I'm Moses Itauma, I should understand my time is going to be my time. You know what I mean? There's too many fighters that's been rushed into things over the years that they've paid dearly for it. You know what I mean? It's happened, and it shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened that way. Jared Anderson, I think, would have been a different fighter than that. You know, we know that Jared Anderson took that fight too early against Martin McCauley. And it was because of the temptation of what was offered, money. You know, high career payday money that he was offered, and he took it, and he paid for it. And I think that's derailed his career a lot, because now there's fights that he probably should fight, like Miller, that he's not fighting. You see what I mean? And now he has a totally different outlook, I believe, on the sport moving forward. I don't want that to be Moses Itauma. I don't want him to go in there and throw him in there with Usyk, because it's, again, people, like I told you, it's a lose-lose situation however he goes. If he goes in there and beats Usyk, right, it may look good, but then the speculation is going to always be there. The question mark, was Usyk past his prime when he fought Moses Itauma? Especially if it's competitive, because all we're going to do and think is, well, what if Oleksandr Usyk was 35 years old or 34 years old when he fought, instead of 38 or 39, you know what I mean? What would have been the outcome? How would the performance match up now? You know what I mean? You always have to ask those questions. Therefore, it's not fair to Moses if he goes in there and he beats Usyk, because Usyk is at the end of his career. Even though he might say shit like 38 is only start and all that, that's bullshit, okay? We all know that he has about 2 years left. He may be retiring in 2026 for all we know. So, you know what I mean? 38 is almost late, you know. But for Lennox Lewis saying that about Moses Itauma, there is no need to rush anything, especially greatness. Greatness should not be rushed. And Lennox Lewis, of all people, should understand that, because when he took his first loss, he understood that patience and building up and recovery and learning and regrouping is the key, okay? And that's why he's one of the best heavyweights of all time, because he took his time. People didn't rush Lennox Lewis, nor did they expect too much out of Lennox Lewis like they're doing Moses, like they did Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? So he knows these things. And if I was Moses Itauma, I would take heed and counsel from Lennox Lewis, because Lennox Lewis knows his shit. Lennox Lewis knows, like, okay, it's way too early. And again, I kept asking the same question. Why are we rushing Moses Itauma? Do you guys remember just last year he had a reward for the best prospect? Now they all of a sudden you want this guy to fight Oleksandr Usyk? All these killers and guys out here, and Parker and Kabayel and McCauley and all these guys that are here, which he has not fought yet, mind you. It would be different if he ran through those guys. Now it's time to see what's going on with the Big Daddy. But at the same time, he hasn't fought any of those guys to even warrant something like that. So for the idea of someone pushing Moses to do these things, you don't have his best interest. You're just trying to see what happens and what he's made out of, not even knowing that he's prepared to do what you want him to do. And I think Moses believes in his own ability. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the levels of maturity and growth that you need to be great. Okay? Because again, greatness takes time. And I think that's exactly what Lennox Lewis is talking about. Give Moses time to be great. But you guys tell me what you think of Lennox Lewis warning Moses Itauma. Wait till Oleksandr Usyk retires. Worry about your own legacy. You can do that with the fighters that's left. You don't need Usyk for that. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.